Hello and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Recap, where I share with you 5 recent stories of interest for asylum seekers and those wanting to stay updated on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
Trump spreads false claims about immigration as the 2024 election approaches. A new study shows how immigration policies could significantly impact U.S. economic growth. Harris defends border policies in a tense Fox News interview on immigration. Trump's mass deportation plan faces huge costs and logistical challenges. DHS grants immigration protections to Lebanese nationals amid regional conflict.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum attorney, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, let's get to the news. First up,
former President Donald Trump has made numerous false claims about immigration in recent weeks as the 2024 election approaches. He has spread misinformation about Vice President Kamala Harris's role in border policy, exaggerated migration numbers, and made unsubstantiated allegations about foreign countries sending criminals to the U.S. Trump falsely claimed Harris never visited the border when she has done so twice. He greatly inflated figures on undocumented immigrants with criminal records. Trump also made baseless assertions about Venezuelan gangs taking over Colorado towns and migrants eating pets in Ohio. Additionally, he repeated debunked stories about foreign prisons being emptied into the U.S. and falsely claimed credit for coining the term caravan to describe migrant groups. Fact-checkers have thoroughly refuted these and other immigration-related claims made by Trump during his recent campaign appearances.
And up next for update number 2.
A new analysis from the Brookings Institution examines the potential economic impacts of immigration policies proposed by Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. The researchers modeled high and low immigration scenarios for each candidate, finding stark differences in projected net migration flows and subsequent effects on GDP growth. Under the most extreme scenarios, the U.S. could see net migration ranging from negative 740,000 in 2025 under Trump's low scenario to 3.7 million under Harris's high scenario. These differences in immigration flows could result in a 0.5 percentage point gap in 2025 GDP growth between the candidates' policies. Over a 10-year period, the cumulative impact on GDP ranges from 1.4% to 3% higher. The analysis highlights immigration's growing importance for labor force growth and economic expansion amid declining fertility rates and an aging population.
All right, it's time for our third immigration update.
Vice President Kamala Harris engaged in a contentious exchange over immigration policy with Fox News anchor Bret Baier in a rare interview with the network. Baier pressed Harris on the administration's border policies and the number of migrants who have crossed the southern border. Harris defended the administration's approach, highlighting proposed legislation and criticizing former President Trump for opposing a bipartisan border security bill earlier this year. The interview touched on sensitive cases of crimes allegedly committed by undocumented immigrants. Harris expressed sympathy for the victims' families while arguing that passing border security measures would have enhanced enforcement. The exchange underscores immigration's centrality in the upcoming election, with Trump campaigning aggressively on the issue. Recent polling indicates voters in key battleground states trust Trump more than Harris on immigration and border security, presenting a challenge for the Harris campaign.
By the way, if you want to stay updated on asylum and immigration reform news, then make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Okay, moving on, we're ready for update number 4.
Donald Trump has renewed his pledge to carry out mass deportations of undocumented immigrants if re-elected, but a CBS News analysis reveals the enormous costs and logistical challenges of such an effort. Deporting 11 million people over 4 years could cost taxpayers up to $216 billion, far exceeding current immigration enforcement budgets. Even with increased funding and staffing, the backlog of immigration cases would likely grow by millions. The plan faces legal and constitutional hurdles, as well as resistance from local law enforcement. Mass deportations could also negatively impact the U.S. economy, potentially reducing GDP and employment. Additionally, over 4 million families could be separated, including those with U.S.-born children. Experts warn of severe social and emotional costs to communities. Trump's previous administration deported far fewer people than promised, highlighting the complexity of large-scale deportation efforts.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
The Department of Homeland Security announced new immigration protections for certain Lebanese nationals in the United States on Thursday, citing escalating conflict in the region. The measures include temporary protected status for those who have resided continuously in the U.S. since October 16, 2024, and deferred enforced departure through January 2026. These actions are expected to benefit approximately 11,000 Lebanese nationals and 1,740 students on F1 visas. Eligible individuals can apply for work authorization and other relief. While advocacy groups welcomed the protections, some called for stronger action, including an arms embargo on Israel and a ceasefire. Representative Debbie Dingell of Michigan emphasized the U.S. responsibility to provide refuge from conflict. The move comes amid growing concerns over Lebanon's humanitarian crisis and its impact on Lebanese Americans and their families.
And that concludes this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can assist you in securing your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.